Okay guys, I'm so glad that you made it to watch this video. I hope it helps you and you get a better grade on the retest tomorrow. Okay, on problem number 1, what you need to do is you need to find out how much is the rise over the run. And the rise in this case, if you count from the left to the right, you go up 1, 2 units, and then to the right would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. So when you put that on the slope, and I'm sorry but I don't have my stylus, the good one, so it's 2 up, and then we said that is 8 to the right, positive going up, positive going to the right. You reduce it, divided by 2 is 1, divided by 2 is 4. So the answer is C. In problem number 2, we do the same thing. So from left to right, starting from the point on the left, you go down or up first. So it's 1, 2, 3 units down. So the slope, it's 3 units down, so it's -3. And then once you go 3 units down, you have to run to the right, and you run 2 units. Okay, so it's 1, 2. So over 2, and that would be the fraction. That's the slope. The slope, don't change it into into a mixed number. Just leave it as an improper fraction. Problem number 3, since that is given in point form, what we want to do is we want to write down the formula for the slope, and the formula for the slope is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. If you want to use the formulas tomorrow, make sure that you bring a formula chart, okay, ready to be used. So the first point is my x1, y1. My second point is my x2, y2. Then just plug in the numbers. So when you plug in the numbers for number 3, the answer would be -5, because that's what y sub 2 is, minus, and then y sub 1 is -15, all over x sub 2 is 20, minus x sub 1 is -16. Now keep in mind that every time you have a negative and a negative, you change it to a positive. So when you combine those numbers, the slope would be -5 and +15, that is 10, +10, and 20 plus 16, that is 36. And then you just reduce it. By 2 is 5, by 2 is 18, and that would be the slope. Same thing happens in number 4. You label your points first. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So you put it into the formula. So the answer here would be 11 minus -3, which is +3. And then it's 5 minus -12, so it's +12. When you combine the numbers, you get 14 over 17, and you cannot reduce it, so just leave it like that. Problem number 5, write the slope-intercept form of the equation. So the slope-intercept form is the one that goes like this: y equals mx plus b. So the y-intercept is given, and this is the y-intercept. So that is the b. The y-intercept is at -1. And the slope, that is the m. So if I choose 2 points on the graph, I can choose the y-intercept and the point 1, -4. So to go from one point to the other, you go up and down first. So it's 1, 2, 3 down, 1 to the right. So the slope, 3 down means -3, 1 to the right is +1, so the slope is -3. So then the equation would be y equals -3x minus 1, so it's C. Number 6, the same way, the b is the y-intercept, which is at -2. The slope, I choose 2 points, okay, so it doesn't matter which 2 points you pick. I'm going to choose 4, -1. Then I move rise over the run, 1 unit up, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. So 1 unit up means +1, 4 to the right is 4. So the equation for that line would be y equals m, which is the slope, you keep the x, and then the y-intercept. Okay? Now number 7, the right side, Let me change pages. Okay, so number 7, it says write the slope-intercept form of the equation with the line described. So they want a line that is parallel to the one given, which is this one, and I want that to be parallel, which means the slope has to be the same as the slope given on that line. So it's 4/3 because that's the number in front of the x, that's the slope. Then the point, which is my x and my y, okay, then I put that into the equation. So it's going to be y, and I'm putting into this equation, y equals mx plus b. So I substitute the values are given. The y is 5. The slope given on that line is 4/3. The x is 3 from the point given. And then I need to find the b. Now when you simplify, 3 times 4 is 12 divided by 3 would be 4. Or you can just cancel the 3's, reduce by 3 is 1. So that would be 5 equals 4 plus b. Then subtract 4 from both sides. So b equals 1. So b is equal to 1 and the slope is 4/3. So this is the slope, this is the y-intercept. Therefore, the equation should be C. Now the same thing happens with number 8. Okay, so when I put in the equation, the slope is 2. I put that into the information into the equation, so it's -3 equals 2 times the x, which is -4, plus the b. So it's -3 equals -8 plus b. I move the -8 always with the opposite. You leave the b by itself, moving the stuff with the opposite of what it has. So -3 plus 8 is positive 5. So I have my pieces of information, these two. So the equation would be y equals 2, you keep the x, and the y-intercept is 5. Now, problem number 9, they want the equation of the line that is perpendicular. If you want the line to be perpendicular, so the slope that is given is 1/2. The slope is 1/2. If they ask me for this for the line to be parallel, I'll use 1/2. But since they want the line to be perpendicular, I get the negative reciprocal of that. So that would be -2. So I use that slope and I use a point x1, y1. I put that into the equation. Let me move this to the side. So the equation would be -1 equals -2 times 1. I'm getting this information from the point and from the slope. -1 equals -2 plus b. Add 2. You add 2. To get rid of the -2, you do the opposite. So 1 equals 2b. Okay, I got it. So the slope should have -2 and the y-intercept to be 1. Okay, here it is. That is letter C. Number 10. And number 10 would do exactly the same thing. The only thing is that the equation, if you look at the line that is given, the equation of the line, the equation, if I put it in slope-intercept form, that would be 0x plus 3. And what that is it's a line that it's a horizontal line passing through 3 on the y-axis. So that's why the slope is 0. Now, since I want the line, the new line, to be perpendicular to that line and passing through the point -5, 3, so here's -5, 3 should be right here. Since I want a line that passes through that point, the line has to be going up and down. And as you recall, a line that it goes up and down is a vertical line, and the slope of a vertical line is undefined. Okay, so then there's no way you can get the equation with the method that we use in number 9. So the equation for that line would be x, because vertical lines should start with x equals, and whatever the x-intercept is, the x value on the point is, so it's -5. And that's the equation of the line that goes up and down. Number 11, write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line passing through the given points, okay, and the slope given. Okay, no problem. Let's put that into the equation. Let me label my point x1, y1. So y is 0. The slope is 4 over 9. The x is 4. So here I just use what they give me. So 0 equals, if I want to multiply those two numbers, I can just put the 4 over 1. 4 times 4, that is 16. 9 times 1 is 9. So that would be 16 over 9. Now here you got to be very careful, because when you move that 16 to the other side, you got to move it with, it's positive, or just move it over with a negative, okay? So it's subtracting 16 over 9. You don't have to put the positive on the bottom, okay? I put it because I made a mistake. I was going to put a negative 9. So anyways, this is going to be negative 16 over 9, and that is B. Okay, so then the slope is 4/9, and that is here on D, and negative 16/9. So here it is. This is the equation. Number 12 is the same way. So the point is 4, 5, 4. So y is 4. The slope is 9/5. The x is 5. And we're looking for the b. Again, you can just put the 5 over 1. That's 45. When you multiply the 9 times 5 is 45. Divided by 5, well, that is 9. Or you can just say, let's just cancel out the 5s. So that would be 4 equals 9 plus b. Then you move the 9 over with a negative 9. And that gives you negative 5. So b is negative 5. And the slope is 9/5. Therefore, the equation should be y equals the slope, which is 9/5. You keep the x, and then the y-intercept, which is negative 5. Okay, number 13. In problem number 13, here I don't have a slope, so I need to find the slope first with the slope formula. Okay, so the slope formula is, you label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2. Then put it into the formula. Y sub 2 is negative 4, minus y sub 1 is 4. X sub 2 is 3, minus x sub 1 is 3. Oh, look at what's going to happen. Negative 8 divided by 0. And 0 is, a number divided by 0 is undefined. Well, remember when I said that the vertical lines have a slope that is undefined? So therefore, what we need to do, I don't know if you noticed, but see, if I plot those points, the point 3, negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, that point would be down here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be down up here. So if I want a line passing through those 2 points, I don't know if you noticed, but I did notice already that that line has to be a vertical line. Therefore, it has to start with an x. X equals, and then the x-intercept, which is 3. So that is D. Then for number 14, we do the same process. We find the slope. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 minus minus 3. That's going to be positive. Then it's 4 minus minus. So m equals 8 divided by 5. I'm sorry about that, guys, but this is on live. Okay, so once you get the slope, you pick one of the 2 points, doesn't matter which point you want to use, and then you plug it into the equation for slope y-intercept. So you're going to get negative 3. You put negative 3 as the y equals the slope, which is 8 over 5, times x, which is negative 1, plus b. Then you solve for b, negative 8 over 5, and then plus b. Then you move that negative 8 over 5 with the positive 8 over 5. So we're adding 8 over 5. Now, I'm doing this by hand, but when you put this into the calculator, you put negative 3 and minus 8/5, and then math fraction form. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that 3 into 15s. 3 times, into fifths. 3 times 5, this is just 15/5. Negative 15/5 is just negative 3. I'm doing that for convenience so that I can combine those two numbers. Negative 15 and negative 8 is negative 23/5. Okay, so That is what b is equals to. So I got my b I got the slope, I got the y-intercept. So the equation is y equals 8 over 5x minus negative 23 over 5. Do not change the number, the fraction, the improper fraction into a mixed number. Just leave it like that, okay? Now let's move on to the next page. It looks nice. Te evitó el chonino. Ok, déjame seguir grabando. Apaga la luz de la lavandería, mamita, please. On number 1, you have to keep in mind that the sum of the angles is 180. So when you add 53 plus 83, that's 136. Plus the third angle, which is 4x. The sum of the three angles is 180. And then just solve for x. Let's multiply 100. Why did I do? Let me erase this. Subtract 136 from 180. And 4x is 44. Divide by 4, it's 11. And that is the answer for number 1. Number 2 is the same idea. And here you can even make it easier. The sum of the two acute angles is 90. So 1x plus 1x is 2x. And 56 plus 56 is 112. Okay, and both of those are supposed to be equal to 90. So I solve for x. Let's subtract 112 from 90. And that gives us 2x equals to 22 divided by 2. And that is 11. But here, the 22 is supposed to be negative. So negative 22 divided by positive 2 is negative 11. So x is negative 11. Number 3. Here you have to keep in mind that if those two sides are congruent, see this one and this one, that means that the base angles are the same. And since the interior angle is 50, the line is 180, which means that the outside angle is 130. And there's a theorem that says that the outside angle, it's equal to the sum of the two remote interior angles, and those are these two. So the sum of those two angles should be equal to 180. Okay, so let me write here. The sum of those two x's, which is 2x, equals to 130. When I divide by 2, x equals to 65. And that is x. Here is the same idea. It's an isosceles. Therefore, the base angles are the same. So x is equal to 54. Number 5. One more time. The base angles are isosceles. See, these two are the same. Therefore, the two sides are equal. So I can say that 2x minus 14 equals 8. When you try to solve for x, adding 14 to both sides, you get 2x that is equal to 22. Then divided by 2, that is 11. X equals to 11. Number 6 is the same idea. Those two are equal to each other. So is x plus 21 equals 12. When you subtract 21, minus 21, minus 21, that gives you negative 9. Then number 7, find the measurement of the angles. Again, the outside angle equals to the sum of the two remote interior angles. So I add up those two angles. I'm going to add the x's first. 3x plus 5x together make 8x. 14 plus 12, that would be 26. That should be equals to the outside remote exterior angle. So it's 122. Okay, subtract 26 from 122. And we subtract, that would be 96. 96, no, it's 86. Okay, and then divided by 100, 112, no, it was 96. I'm sorry, guys. It was 96. Yeah. And then you divide both sides by 8. And when you divide by 8, that gives you 12. Again, number 8 is the same idea, same process. The outside angle, which is 9x plus 8, should be equal to the sum of the two inside remote interior angles. So it would be 4x, 23 plus 45, that gives us 68. Now, you always want to move the smallest x, so it's minus 4x, that gives you 5x. Then you subtract 8, minus 8, and that would give you 60. Then divided by 5, 60 divided by 5, that would be 12 when you divide those two. Okay, number 9. Classify the triangles by its sides. Let me put the names by the sides. By the angles and by the sides. By the angles could be acute when all the angles are less than 90. It could be right when you have at least one, well, it's only one right angle. And obtuse when you have one obtuse angle. Okay. And by the sides, it could be isosceles. It could be equilateral. And talking about equilateral, when all the angles are the same, is called equiangular. So it could be equiangular and also equilateral. No, equiangle, acute. These two, I'm sorry. So equiangular and acute go hand by hand. Coming to the sides, isosceles, equilateral, and scaling when all the sides are different. Okay, so based on the angles first, okay, the three of them are less than 90, therefore is going to be acute. That's by the angles. By the sides, I have 3.1, 3.5, 2.4. They're all different. Okay, so that's going to be scaling. Number 10, by the angles. If it's by the angles, look at this. Acute, but the main one here, this one here, that is an obtuse angle. Okay, so by the angles would be obtuse triangle. And now something that is very important here is 2.3 and 2.3. They're the same. Therefore is isosceles. So if two sides are the same, at least two sides are the same, there's an isosceles. That's number 10. And now let's move. Okay. On the 4th page, by the angles, I look at the angles. Okay. By the angles, I can say that, this is an obtuse angle. So therefore, it should be an obtuse triangle. And because the two sides are the same, it's an isosceles. Okay. Number 12. Complete each congruent statement by naming the corresponding angles and sides. Okay, so they're asking me, what is the corresponding part that goes with WX? This one here. Okay, well, WX, if I look at the statement, WX, let me just make this bigger so we can see it better. There you go. So WX is right here, the first two letters. So therefore, it's got to be the first two letters of the triangle. So the answer should be WN. I don't even have to look at the picture. See here, WX is supposed to be congruent to WN. Number 13. And this is something similar, pretty much the same as what you're going to have on the test. It says, make the angles and size of each pair of triangles to indicate that they are congruent. Okay, so here, if I want to go with the angles, A goes with I. Single congruency mark. B goes with J. Angle B with J. And C with C. Okay, triple congruency mark, triple congruency mark. Now, with the sides, okay, if I want to do the sides, A, B, first two letters with the first two letters, I, J. B, C with J, C. Two tick marks. And then A, C, first and third, I, C. First and third. And then, okay, let's see, I did something wrong here. BC, let me go back. Okay, one more time. We have that BC is with JC, so BC is with JC. And AC, three lines with IC. We gotta be careful. Okay, number 14, same idea. Angles with angles this is Q with Q. Okay, so angle where the Q is with the, I gotta be careful there. That is right, gotta be careful because it's three letters. I don't have just one angle at P and at Q. I have two letters. So it's P, Q, P, R. Q, P, R. Okay, the middle letter is the one that has the angle, so it's right here. And then is Q, P, H. Q, P, H. Okay, so at the middle letter is a P, so it goes like that. So that is single congruency mark, okay? I'm just making it darker. Then the next one. Okay, H with what? Well, H gotta be with R. I'm gonna put here two congruency marks. And then for Q, I can say that that would be HQP. If I go with H and then Q and then P, I gotta go R, Q, and then P. I gotta follow the same order. R, is it R, Q, P? 1, 2, 3 with P, Q, H. Those are the angles. Now the sides. First two letters, QP, QP. First two letters, QP. Then PR with PH. PR with PH. Double congruency mark. First and third letter, QR. 1, 2, 3. First and third letter, QH. 1, 2, 3. And that's what you need to do also on the test, okay? Number 15, state if two triangles are congruent. If they are congruent, then state how do you know? Okay, well here I can see that this is going to be a side, an angle, and a side. Side, angle, side. The angle is included between the two angles. Angle included. So therefore, a side, angle, side. So that's one of the postulates that we learned today. So it's side, angle, side, postulate. Again, the only two theorems is HL and angle, angle, side. Number 16. In number 16, we have a right angle. So across from the right angle that was the hypotenuse. So here's the hypotenuse. Then the two sides that form the right angle, those are the legs. So here I have two of those legs marked congruent. Okay, so that would be the leg and the leg. So therefore, this is hypotenuse, leg, theorem. Okay. Number 17. For 17 is going to be a side that is touching, getting a hold of those two angles, a side getting a hold of the two angles, that is an included side. Therefore, this would be marked as angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. So the postulate is angle, side, angle. And this is postulate. Number 19, there's two pieces given congruent, but there's one missing, and that is a vertical angles. And you're not going to have that mark at all, okay? So you got to mark it yourself. So here we can say that this is side and angle in between the two sides. So it's side, angle, side. So that is the postulate. Side, angle, side, postulate. Next, number 19. That is the same thing. Side, on the left side is going to be side, angle, side. Oh, wait a minute. This is side, side, angle, or angle, side, side. It cannot be, because it does, that donkey's asses doesn't exist. We don't go with that in geometry. So this cannot be possible. Not possible. Okay, just leave it like that. Number 20, here we have a set of angles or congruent that is not marked congruent. This pair is the vertical angles. So if you label, this is going to be angle, side, angle, angle, an included side, and an angle. So this is angle, side, angle, and this is a postulate. Okay, I hope this helps. Please make sure you study, redo the review if you have to. I'm going to go ahead and upload it also blank just because you want to practice again. Thank you.